Hello wild people, I'm Grizz.
And I'm Flash.
And today we're out here in Alaska in the backcountry, a beautiful, beautiful sunny day with Bern, who seems to think she's a fox. She's been trying to dig up rodents and squirrels and all kinds of things. And today we're going to talk to you about Flash's stretching exercises that she does along the trail during the day of her hike.
A lot of the stretching you've probably seen before, and your stretching routine will just be tailored to you and how you're feeling that day, what's hurting and what your injuries are, and so on. And remember, before you start any kind of stretching or exercise routine, get a doctor's clearance and be really aware of your body and how far it can go. Because everybody's different, everyone has a different body, different structure, different age, different injuries, and it's a really personal thing. So I have a bad back, a cranky back, and I'm not really sure, I think it's from my scoliosis, but I have to stop like once every 2 or so miles and just bend over like this. And the weight of my pack usually cracks my back. And then I usually take some deep breaths through my nose. Helps my back feel better, helps me recover. And probably my trail name should be, Are You Okay? Because there's been a lot of times when I've been in this position and somebody's walked by and said, Are you okay? And I just say, yeah, I'm just stretching, just cracking my back. So I do that a lot. Another thing I do during the day, just if something is bothering me, not during a break, but just with my poles and my pack on, is I use my poles and I come into a runner stretch or high lunge in yoga and rock back and forth, because the reason I do this a lot is because I have a really tight psoas muscles, hip flexors right here, and when they get tight, my hips start hurting, and so I need to stretch that out a lot. And so I'll come down into the high lunge, and sometimes I'll come down into a low lunge. Okay, I come into a low lunge, and here usually I start with kind of a mix between isometric and dynamic stretching, where I tighten on my muscles as I'm coming back and forth between half splits and low lunge, keeping all those muscles tight while I go back and forth, and that just kind of helps protect your joints, your muscles, and makes it more of an active stretch. I also do this in the morning sometimes too. I forgot to put that on my morning video. Okay, so I do that a lot during the day. Go to the other side, coming down to low lunge, maybe a little to half splits and back. And then besides having kind of cranky psoas muscles and a cranky back, sometimes I just need to stretch back to give my back a break. Or maybe do a little bit for the calf muscles. Another thing that I have, and is personal to me, is I have a cranky knee on the side. So I usually take like a rolled up rag underneath my hip crease or my knee crease here. And when I'm on the trail, I might just stick my hands in there. And if my knee is bothering me, I'll just do both knees and I'll come down. And that seems to kind of open up the knee joint a little. And it makes my knee feel a lot better. Okay, and one more thing to keep in mind is your gait. I practiced a lot of different kinds of gaits. I do much better with trekking poles just because for some reason with the pack and trekking poles, my center of gravity is just right and it works really well for me. And then when I don't have my trekking poles, it feels really weird and inefficient. And also one thing that a yoga teacher taught me, Lee Lubin from Valdez, Alaska, is that she recommends that you keep your center of gravity, like when you're doing yoga, Tadasana, mountain pose, that you keep your weight on the front of your heels. And that really balances out your joints and all the pressure coming down through your body is centered on your joints the right way. And so when my knee was cranky, my feet got cranky, and my hips, I would think about when I was walking, kind of leaning forward a little, bending my knees, and trying to strike on the front of my heel and the back. And that really helped me a lot, but that may be a real personal thing. So those are things that I did with my pack on along the trail, and it just really matters on how you're feeling, what hurts, and it's very personal to you. Okay, so during snack breaks or lunch breaks, or when we took a longer break, we usually got our foam mattress out, maybe took a nap, and I always say that right after you've been hiking a lot, instead of sitting down, you should lay down or stand up, because for me, all those muscles, especially around your hips, will tighten up, and then when you get up to hike again, you're kind of like, oh, you got to stretch. And I notice that if I go on a long hike, get in the car, sit in the car going home, then when I get out of the car to go in the house, I can't walk. I'm really creaky. So I always make sure I lay down. So that's one reason we had our cell mattresses along with us, so we could lay down and maybe even coming in onto your stomach into a Sphinx pose. Because for me, that keeps my psoas hip flexors nice and loose and not tightening up until I get kind of cooled down. And then after that, I will do some of the exercises that I do on the trail that I didn't do in the morning. Would maybe be some hamstring stretches. Really breathe along with it. Deep breath coming in as you go down, exhaling and letting go. Maybe some wide-legged stretches, getting more of the inner thigh. Some butterflies. I did do these in the morning. And then downward dogs. Downward dog is a really important one. Calf muscles should only be stretched when they're warmed up. So I stretch the calf muscles in downward dog. Maybe even stretch a little in downward dog at the shoulders. And maybe coming into an upward dog with toes tucked. Okay, and then maybe a squat. Ooh, you can hold on to your dog for balance. I love squats. Whew. And then maybe some shoulder openings. Stretching the side body. And then interlacing your fingers behind your head, opening that chest. And if you have a tree nearby, trees are great for stretching. I don't have a tree. I have a dog, but the dog would probably not like it. But you hold on to the tree and you just squat down and you pull or lean away from the tree like you're trying to pull the tree towards you, and it really stretches out your shoulders really nice. And then you can try to push the tree away, stretching the back of your legs, and then you can hug the tree, of course. And that is my stretching routine. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions or want to comment, then please put that in the comments below. And one thing I forgot to tell you, and I usually do this at night, but it feels really good during the day too, is my favorite all-time pose. If you have a tree, it's usually called legs up the wall, but if you can find a tree, legs up the tree, and that's awesome for swelling feet and achy legs, achy feet. So thank you.
Okay, well, thanks, Flash. And next time, join us, because Flash is going to demonstrate her evening stretching routine.
Right.
Until then, Live wildly, my friends.